During the night, Paul had a vision of a man in Macedonia standing and begging them, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." After he had seen this vision, we got ready at once to leave for Macedonia, concluding God had called us to preach to them. Acts 16:9-10. God is calling us to do his work. In his vision, Paul saw a man desperately begging for help. There are people all around us who beg like that today. They are calling out to us. The people have the one thing that their souls long for: spiritual healing and redemption. But now that you know that, what will you do about it? In verse 10, it says that Paul went at once. This means immediately, as soon as possible, right away. He knew that someone needed him, so he dropped everything and he went to them. It didn't matter who or what he was leaving behind, because as soon as God showed him souls in peril, he went to rescue them. It didn't matter what he wanted to do, because as Christ's follower, it was his responsibility to go to them. It's obvious that there are people all around us who need God. They could be in the same church or in an entirely different country. Think of all of the excuses we make up to avoid this responsibility. We say that we're too tired, too far away, or it makes us uncomfortable. What if we were in dire need of something and the one person who had it gave us one of those excuses? There are people all around us dying physically and spiritually, but we don't say anything to them simply because we don't know them. We need to put aside our fear and pride and say, yes, I may not know or like them, but because they need me, I will go to them. I will go. Don't get someone else to do it. Go yourself. Don't wait for them to come to you. Go to them. We need to be like Paul, who selflessly went to the people who needed God. We, like him, need to make that commitment of I will go. Kyle Idleman wrote the book Not a Fan, and in it he's basically defining a fan from a follower. A fan is the admirer, the one who wants all of God's benefits but none of the sacrifices. But on the other hand, rather than back away from it, followers view sacrifice as an opportunity to enthusiastically serve their Lord. There's a man in Luke 9 that said he'd follow Jesus wherever he went. But then he found out just exactly where it would be that he's following. See, Jesus didn't live the fine life. He was homeless. He was friends with the sinners and social outcasts. This wasn't what that man had in mind. He was only a fan. He told Jesus he'd follow him wherever he went, without thinking about where it was he'd have to go. See, when we tell Jesus, I'll follow you, we're following him right out of our comfort zones. You may wonder how this applies to you. As members of the church, we have told Jesus that we want to follow him, but until we're willing to step out of our comfort zones, we're only fans. There are people who step into our churches whose souls are longing for God. They are in desperate need of a Savior to pull them out of sin and despair, but they leave the exact same way they walked in. Why? Because we're only fans. We were so busy talking to our friends and hanging out with our people that we were too wrapped up in our own little worlds to do anything. Either we were afraid or we didn't care. But until we're willing to sacrifice our comfort for the well-being of someone we don't know, we're not followers. Here are 2 questions for you. 1. When you get to heaven, how many people will be there because of you? And 2. How many people won't be there because of you?